Hello, hello, and welcome. Today I am joined by a very special guest. I have Rumble Sports with me here, one of the biggest Niners fans that I know, one of the most popular Niners fans that I know. He is one of the most passionate Niners fans that I know also, and I'm very glad to have Rumble Sports on with me today. So how you doing tonight, Rumble?
I'm doing fabulous, Megan. And this is a pure pleasure too. And I heard about you through somebody after you asked. You know that day how you did ask, and made me feel like a small man as people came after me. Man, answer him. What are you doing? I didn't know he was 13. but still, that's no excuse. That's no way to treat a fellow 49er fan. My apologies once again.
It's all good.
But
It's all good.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm ready to roll.
So
Let's talk
let's
some
jump right into
49ers.
it. Starting off is why is Rumble Sports a Jimmy Garoppolo defender?
It's what's really funny is it's amazing how that takes on such a huge aura because nowadays it's like out of fashion with a large contingent of 49er fans to not like Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And I just can't do it. I look at Jimmy Garoppolo as somewhat of a victim of circumstances. I have always said, and Kyle's always said since 2017, he's been looking for wide receivers that can come in and get the job done. Um, with what he's done, with what he's had, I'm thoroughly impressed. All right, starts off in 2017, two no-name guys, Marquise Goodwin and Trent Taylor. He's got George Kittle out there, and Kendrick Bourne is sort of struggling with the system, running wrong routes and doing a lot of bizarre things. Kendrick Bourne is a good receiver nowadays, but then at that time, Jimmy came in and used what he had and did a job. That's when I knew this is no average quarterback. This is not a mediocre quarterback. This is not a this guy's got it. Okay, but at that time, Jimmy was pretty much rolling out there on his own instincts. And this is something that is not really given enough credit. So 2018 comes, the 49ers have already ran the board. They beat up some really teams that were contending for the playoffs. And 2018 arrives, and Kyle says, okay, fine. We're going to learn the playbook now. And all of a sudden, people labeled what they saw as regression. I mean, I got better sense than that. You don't regress over 3 months. Jimmy G was all of a sudden thrown into a classroom and said, this is what we do here. This is how I want it done. Well, a lot of people don't understand is Kyle loves his quarterback to stand back in the pocket, although that is possibly now going to change. He wants you to stand back in the pocket, keep your eyes downfield. And I once read it word for word. Even if you get hit in the face, you're getting beat up, you keep your eyes downfield and you make your play. Now, that wasn't Jimmy. That was not Jimmy when he first came. Jimmy was running all over the field. He was dancing around in the pocket. He was orchestrating sending his wide receivers in different directions. He was hitting them. Boom. We were scoring. And then Kyle says, stay in the pocket. I'll give you a chance to run. We'll do play action here and there. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. All right. Jimmy's learning. He's trying to do Kyle football. That's not regression. That's trying to do Kyle's system. So I said, I'm listening to the rhetoric. I'm not having it. I'm not. Jimmy's trying to learn that offense, which we're going to find out more about how true that may be when Lance does take the field. But that's when I realized, okay. And then he goes down to the injury, ending 2018. Now he falls behind in the system. 2019 comes, his first full season. Even though there are those who have decided Jimmy had nothing to do with it. I mean, that is the most outrageous thing I've heard. That is one thing that sets me on fire. You can't be on the field and not have anything to do with it. Jimmy had several solid games, and people need to understand Kyle Shanahan doesn't always want his quarterback to do all the heavy lifting, especially when you've got the running game that we had. The percentages are higher. If you got a running back like Raheem Mostert and he's tearing him up, you don't pull that dog out of the fight. You let him tear the opposition up. And that's what we did pretty much. And when Jimmy was called upon, both Cardinal games, the both Rams games, and this is the nice thing about it. We would have swept the Seahawks that year had it not been for that field goal kicker. Jimmy G would have been
Yep.
perfect
Hmm.
within the division. That to me says something. I'm sorry, I just can't accept the stuff about Jimmy sucks. Jimmy sucks. No, he doesn't suck, not at all. And in that playoff game that year, he's actually perfect in the first half. Did not miss one catch. And that's why I says, the biggest dislike for him, I mean, I believe has more to do with that missed shot in the Super Bowl than anything else. People are saying these outrageous things about Garoppolo. They've got to be kidding me. All those things. He can't throw over 5 yards. He can't throw outside the numbers. He can't do this. He can't do that. And I said, lay it on, guys. I know you're mad. We didn't win the Super Bowl. It's all Garoppolo's fault. When really, that's another myth. It takes 11 guys to lose a game like that. And we had about 5, including the refs. So that's why I'm saying I will never hate Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm wishing him all the best of luck this year, and he's going to be healthy this year. And that's why I continue to support Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm loyal in that fashion. I don't flip flop because of the latest trend or the latest fashion or flavor. Jimmy Garoppolo is my guy, and I expect huge things from him this year. I left out the New Orleans Saints, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
He went out there and he
He
met that
torched
challenge.
it. He torched that game. I definitely agree. He torched that game. I am one of those guys that are Jimmy Garoppolo hater, and I'll give you my reasons why I am a Jimmy Garoppolo hater. Even
Oh,
moving
go right
on,
ahead.
even moving past beyond the Super Bowl, and he missed that throw. That is sometimes people do hate on him because he did miss that throw to Emmanuel Sanders. But even moving on beyond that is that 2017 he came out, he balled out. He did his stuff. He won games for us, and we beat teams like the Jaguars, who went to the AFC Championship game and almost beat Brady and the Patriots that season. So Jimmy
Hmm?
Garoppolo came in with a bad offensive line and bad receiver, and he did his stuff, and he took care of business. 2018, he had that ACL injury. He got hurt, and he was not the same after that. And 2019, yes, we made it to the Super Bowl, and Jimmy Garoppolo, he balled out in some games like against the Saints, against the Cardinals. But Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play so well where he would throw no interceptions or he would do so well. In most of the games I looked up on Google and I looked up some of his stats in the games, most of his games he would have one touchdown, he would throw 2 interceptions. Or he would either have one touchdown or 1 interception per game. And yeah, you could say that the Niners run the ball a lot or because it works. But the Niners also don't throw a lot with Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo is not that good with throwing the football. And in 2019 and 2020, this season, he'll tuck in the ball. He'll hold in the ball like this, and before he won't throw the ball away, which pisses me off so much about Jimmy Garoppolo. There's many things that I don't like about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I'll watch it and I'm like, Jimmy Garoppolo, like what are you doing, man? Like even if you don't make the right throw, please just throw away the ball. Don't like tuck it in and hold it, and then we get sacks, and then I'm just like, come on, man, like throw the ball away. It's really not that hard. His decision making also in the Super Bowl really annoyed me. Where like one pick was he threw a pick where he could have thrown the ball out of bounds and he just chucked it, lobbed it up in the air, and it was an interception in the first quarter. Some of these things about Jimmy Garoppolo of his decision making really annoy me, and one reason why I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo Jimmy Garoppolo is not the guy for me after 2018. After he came off the ACL injury, he looked different. The only reason I feel that way that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't as good he wasn't as good when he was in 2017 was because he played with fear after that ACL injury. That one play where he scrambled out of the pocket, and after that he never used to scramble out of the pocket after that ACL injury. He would either tuck in the ball like he did in 2020, and the defense in the run game bailed him out in 2019. It wasn't him himself playing excellent games. The defense in the run game bailed him out. You might be laughing at it, but the defense in the run game did bail him out. I'm not saying I'm saying quarterbacks do need a run game and a defense to be successful. But Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play exceptionally well, where he played one touchdown or three touchdowns, and he didn't have any interceptions. He had one touchdown and 2 interceptions per game. The only good games that he played was against the Saints and against the Cardinals, and he made some good throws. But also, he did have some bad decision makings in some games where like I said, he would throw those one touchdowns or 2 interceptions. And I was watching your show last night, and you said, How come we can't win with Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard? If you look at the seasons where C.J. Beathard was quarterback, he was in quarterback when Brian Hoyer, which that team was really not that good. We didn't have Bosa, we didn't have Ford, we didn't have Fred Warner, prime Fred Warner. In 2018, Nick Bosa was still not there. D Ford still was not there. 2019, on the other hand, 2019 Jimmy Garoppolo played most of the season. In 2020, Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, Nick Bosa was out. D Ford was also out. Richard Sherman missed most of the games. Debo Samuel missed most of the games. So these guys missed most of the games. So you can't expect Nick Mullins and Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard to win under the same circumstances because they didn't have the same team. They didn't have the same good defense. I feel like if we had Nick Bosa and the same team that we had in 2019 with DeForest Buckner and those guys that were healthy, Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard could have also won games. We didn't have that same team that Jimmy Garoppolo had to work with because our guys was injured. That's why I disagree with you on that also, that Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, we can't win with those guys because our teams were different with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo had Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and George Kittle healthy. Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, 2 years they didn't even have Nick Bosa and George Kittle. In 1 year, those guys were injured. So
Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. What are they? 2019. What were the total amount of ints that Jimmy threw?
13.
How many games are in that season?
16. That means he threw an
Did
interception
you?
pretty much most of the games, except for 3.
I bet you said every last one. He was always one touchdown per two, and I said that's 30 something ints. Okay, I mean this is what I'm talking about. That was a little bit of an exaggeration. When you do the math, it's impossible. What you just said is Jimmy G threw 34 ints. You averaged them out to two a game. These are kind of exaggerations that I always think, sometimes the hatred gets a little blown out of proportion. Jimmy had several games where there were no ints. Nobody remembers those, though. This is what I'm saying. It's okay if you don't like a player, but I mean, to be fair, all the numbers should be considered. And sometimes it may be a good idea to show some of the good things that happen without overshadowing every little thing with a mistake. Because quite frankly, like I've always said, and it's going to happen in the future as well, you're not going to get a quarterback that never makes a mistake. It's just the name of the game. Everybody out there is one of the best at their job. So if you get a good cornerback out there, a good linebacker, a good defensive line, there's going to be mistakes. The quarterback's not a god. He's a quarterback.
Why can't Jimmy Garoppolo has pretty much all to work with and he couldn't do nothing. In 2019, I get it, but still, Raymond Martinez said 2 touchdowns and one in a pick per game. That's mediocre numbers at best. With not a best receiving cast in, but good offensive line. But you have Kyle Shanahan as your freaking offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds in the league, and Jimmy Garoppolo still can't work with that. Come on.
He could with George Kittle. His percentages with George Kittle are very high. Debo was a rookie. All right. Ayuk wasn't here yet. Kendrick Bourne is good in spots, but he's not very consistent. Okay. This is why if this year will prove anything as we say goodbye to Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to have huge numbers this year. Now he's got 3 solid targets, and one is predicted to be a Pro Bowler in Brandon Ayuk. This is what I've been trying to tell people the whole time. Holding Jimmy fully responsible for every little throw when receivers, and Kendrick Bourne was notorious for running the wrong route, even though I loved him and he did great things when he did it right. Debo was just learning what the NFL was all about. It took him about 6 weeks and he was okay. And George Kittle hurt part of the game, but we did have Emmanuel Sanders, and that's dramatically Jimmy Garoppolo's game started to improve. Or did you notice that?
Yeah, but I saw that a little bit.
Only a little bit, though, right?
Sanders, but still, the Rams game, he had 1 pick and one touchdown and 2 interceptions. That Rams game with Emmanuel Sanders, where he got lucky on that one play where he lobbed the ball to Emmanuel Sanders on a 3rd and 16, which he got sacked 2 times before, and he made that lucky throw because that was just a blown coverage by the Rams safety Taylor Rapp. Otherwise, that play would have also been nowhere, and the Rams also could have made the playoffs because that was just a bad play by the Rams secondary. That wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo.
So your feeling is everything that Jimmy did well was just luck.
No, I'm not saying that, but that Pacific play, yeah, that was luck. But Jimmy Garoppolo has good qualities of his game. But Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't progressed since his 2017 self. He just hasn't. As much as Jimmy Garoppolo in 2017 was way different than what he is now. And to pay a guy
Mm,
$150 million for him to be injured, that's just not you. That's Jimmy Garoppolo. I hate on Jimmy Garoppolo for that also. The injuries, man. And
mm,
I get that
yeah.
it's football. I get that it's football and players get hurt. But come on, man. Like you've already missed through two you got paid $150 million in 2018. You missed the whole 2018 season. You played in 2019 and you missed the whole 2020 season off an ankle injury. Come on, like really, you're getting paid $150 million and you can't stay healthy. I get that it's football, but you've already missed 2 out of the 3 seasons. And last year's injury was nothing where he was getting like hit really hard. He just hurt his ankle on the New York Jets play, and he was holding his ankle and he missed games.
You think he was faking? I mean, you feel like he maybe didn't feel like playing?
He's not faking it, but he should have played at least. He missed most of the season.
Can't help the team if you're not feeling like you can do the job, right? I you know
Best ability is availability, and Jimmy Garoppolo was not
yeah.
available.
I played ball, and this is another beef I have. Um, you know, nobody wants to get hurt. Trust me, nobody wants to get hurt. But the game, people are gonna get hurt. When you look at our entire lineup, how many guys did we have missing last year? A lot. George Kittle doesn't want to miss games. Mostert doesn't want to miss games. K'Wan Williams doesn't want to miss games. Kwaski doesn't want to miss games. These guys, you're playing against the best in the world. Guys are gonna get hurt. They love to just check into a place where they can take a pill or do some kind of workout where you never get hurt, but it's not like that. That's why when a player gets hurt, I feel it and I feel bad for the player. Whereas fans rage and get mad because a guy got hurt. That to me is insane. That's why I always take those guys' side. He wasn't trying to get hurt. It was nothing he could do. He was doing his job the best he can. He was trying to win. And he got hit, or he got clipped, or his ankle snapped, or the knee went out. These guys, Tavares Moore, you think he wants to sit there and wait for his knee to heal up this year? No. It's something that can't be helped. You're going to find that, and hopefully it doesn't happen, quarterbacks are the most vulnerable position on the field. Next to running back. Are we going to do that? If Trey Lance gets hurt, are we all going to hate him? If he comes against Trey, he didn't mean to, and he certainly isn't faking. He'd love to play. Jimmy would love to play. So
He doesn't look like he loves to play the game of football. He'll throw an interception. He'll laugh it off. He's not a leader with the guys. You see Patrick Mahomes rallying his team on the sideline. You see Russell Wilson rallying his team on the sideline. Jimmy Garoppolo is not doing that. Jimmy Garoppolo is looking at the iPad trying to get better, but he's not help motivating his guys. He's not a leader like that. Jimmy Garoppolo, even moving past the injuries, Jimmy Garoppolo is mediocre at best, and you get paid $150 million, and you're mediocre at best, and the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available. And that 2019 season, yeah, he was a quarterback, so you give him credit. But Jimmy Garoppolo still wasn't the guy that led us to the playoffs, led us to the Super Bowl. He wasn't. Our run game and our
who would you
defense led us to the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
run game and defense? Okay. All right. That's fair enough. All right.
You know, comment on that?
No, there's no point commenting on that. Everybody who believes that, their mind is rock solid stuck on that. That's the way it is. Nobody's ever your group is never going to give Jimmy any credit. I argue, but I already know that your minds are made up, and Jimmy is useless, and the team could win without him. So it's just the thing is, I find a coincidence is when he plays, they win. But you just said he has no leadership qualities when pretty much everybody in the locker room has made it clear that they support Jimmy G. But the people who don't like Jimmy G don't listen to that, and they just pay no attention to it. So it's an argument that can't be won. I understand that. I do. I get frustrated and I argue back, but it's a lost cause, and I know it. But I got to get that off my chest.
Yeah, but I'm not the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I know you are, but hey, we disagree on some things. We agree on some things. That's just the way it is. That's just the way sports is. Different people have
And that's not
different.
going to change. Yeah.
I was a Jimmy Garoppolo guy, man. 2017, Jimmy Garoppolo is my guy. I used to call my dad at work, and I'm like, Jimmy Garoppolo just did like magic. Like we had such a bad season, but then after that, I was like, come on, Jimmy, like do better.
Keep in mind, as I told you, Jimmy was being Jimmy in 2017. That's who he is. In 2018, you're not New England anymore. You got to play my style. That's exactly what took place. And it took him a while to master it. It takes a couple of years to get Kyle Shanahan's system down anyway, at least a year. And then the second year, you usually start to show that you know what you're doing. And we saw that in 2019 to a degree. But for all intents and purposes, Jimmy G's only had about close to 2 years in total in Kyle Shanahan's system. This is why I know this year, the people that don't like Jimmy are about to get a eye-opening. Oh, it's going to be special this year. And this I promise.
Trey Lance has already been working out with this guy. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't even know what Jimmy Garoppolo is doing in an offseason. I already see Trey Lance working out with Brandon Ayuk, working out with Mohamed Sanu, working out with Deebo Samuel.
Jimmy better not do. Jimmy, there's no point Jimmy doing that because the cameras are out there. Let Ayuk have that spotlight. He's the rookie. He's the guy that everybody's wanting to see succeed. Jimmy's been around for too long now to start making videos. How many other quarterbacks around the NFL that are already established do you see making videos and posting them up?
Not that many.
Yeah. That's what veterans do. They don't – it's not necessary at this point to be doing that. Jimmy did that when he first came too. It's just something you do when you first get in the league. But to show everybody that you're doing videos every day and everybody going, wow. At this point, that's beyond. It's not beneath him, but it's beyond him.
Cam Newton does do that. I'm not even going to lie.
Cam Newton. Well, is Cam Newton doing videos right now?
Cam Newton has like his own YouTube channel. He'll post videos of him on his YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of guy. Look at the clothes Cam wears. I mean, this is a guy that loves to showboat.
I want to be honest. Cam is a little bit weird with the clothes he wears and the stuff he does. Like I agree with Cam is a little weird. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes Cam's decisions are very, very, very questionable.
Yep. And didn't he go? Didn't he play against Jimmy last year while Jimmy was hurt and lost? So Cam is Cam's fun though. And you know what I really love about Cam is when he loses, which is often, and he does the post-game conferences, and he doesn't like the questioning. His face, it just shows every last emotion. I mean, Cam, fake it or something, but you're embarrassing yourself. God, answer the question or say something smart or something. Don't just sit there and look all mad. I do enjoy it. And then all of a sudden, you see him just get up and walk out. Oh, see, that's Cam Newton press conferences are more entertaining than the games.
I got to agree with that statement. So we went through the Jimmy Garoppolo debate. I know everybody wants to see that. Now let's move on to other Niners topics. Starting off is are the 49ers in win now mode?
Oh, absolutely. You know, with this roster, I mean, you can't expect the 49ers to come out there and be in any other mode. A lot of those guys hopefully they were going to do what they're going to do now. Last year, we were stacked last year. I mean, we were going to have the twosome of George Kittle and Jordan Reed. I was so excited about that. But again, injuries took both guys off the field. Both guys. And then also, Ayuk was new and he was exciting. Hopefully we're going to get to see him. And, of course, Jimmy goes down. And now you're starting to watch the offensive line. It turned to rubbish, really, right before our very eyes. So you had what was going to be something special turn into a complete mess. And this is the thing that most 49er fans, pretty much all of us, probably including yourself, we're all worried. Please, Niners, don't dissolve before the season even starts. Can we please get a bunch of healthy bodies out there? You guys got all the tools. You got all you need. Please, everybody's in prayer.
I was wishing for Christmas last year?
Absolutely.
You know what I was wishing for Christmas last year? A healthy starter. That's what I was wishing for Christmas last year. I was like, please Just give me one healthy starter on the Niners. That's it. That's all I was wishing.
Yeah, in December, you're right. We didn't, we were down to pretty much second and third string and practice squad guys by December. It was a sad thing to watch. Our first string running backs gone, quarterback gone, offensive linemen were Brunskill ends up playing center. I mean, Brunskill's not a center.
Yeah.
I said, this why us? And so it was going on all the time. I'm just Trent Williams. Remember that scare we had with him? Ankle turn or something. But I was, oh God, you got Mike McGlinch on the side. He's having some kind of emotional breakdown. Now you got Trent Williams over here, and but Trent came back the next game though. Anyway, apparently it wasn't that serious. But then here comes COVID. Oh, Green Bay Packer game. Are you kidding me? Oh,
that was not fun to watch. That was definitely not fun to watch. I watched it, but that was still. I left maybe third quarter, fourth quarter. I was like, this is a blowout. We had our starting wide receiver was River Craycraft. And Richie James. Those were the two best.
And Richie James. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and Craycraft that was the game. Didn't he have a touchdown? And the ref said no.
First touchdown. Yep, and the ref said no. Yep, he had that touchdown where he caught it at the end zone, and the ref said his feet were out of bounds, so that wasn't some type of catch.
No, the fact is, it was great toe drag swag. Craycraft caught the ball, stayed stiff, went to the ground, ball bounces out. I understand the ruling, but still, it seemed like he was going to the dirt in slow motion. It took him forever to hit the ground. You could have already signaled touchdown. So, everybody says, Ronbo, the ref, was right. No, he wasn't. We didn't do anything all game long. Let us have that, please. No, he wouldn't let us have it.
Yep. Yes, the 49ers are definitely in win now mode. The only thing that concerns me is the injuries, but also that Jimmy G and Trey Lance are under center. If we, like the Rams, they're also in win now mode, but they got a proven quarterback who's been a starter in this league for multiple years in Matthew Stafford.
But what has Matthew Stafford proven?
Matthew Stafford has a bad team, but he's still a pretty darn good quarterback. He's made a bunch of Pro Bowls, and he's known as a good quarterback.
But he's had better wide receivers than Jimmy G has.
Yes. Okay, you could argue that. Who has a better team, though? In general, who has a better team? You can break it position by position. And they had Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones missed most of their games, and now they're not even on the team. And besides that, he hasn't had talent, and besides Calvin Johnson. Otherwise, what other talented players did he have, Rombo? What other talented players besides Calvin Johnson, Kenny Golladay, and Marvin Jones did he have that are talented, that are Pro Bowl wide receivers?
Yeah. He also had that wide receiver from the Seahawks. Oh, what is his name? He's not been lacking for talent. He's not suffering. People make him like he's the poor Matthew Stafford. No, he's not. It's Matthew Stafford, and he got injured a lot too. And that's another thing that's pretty funny. If Matthew Stafford gets injured, that's
why I think they didn't trade for him.
Yeah. Well, no, Kyle wanted him, which is really mind-blowing to me. If Kyle's concerned about injured quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford's got a long list of games missed because of being injured.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, Kyle knows injuries are going to happen. It's a luck thing anyway. And if you got a solid offensive line, hopefully you can lessen that possibility like we do now. So Matthew Stafford, we're going to see what he looks like in Los Angeles. Remember, the NFC North is not like the NFC West. I look forward to what Matthew Stafford looks like. You know about Rudy, right? Hey, Rudy! See, Rudy thinks that Matthew Stafford's going to come out and just take the NFC West apart. I got news for him. The defense in the NFC West is far more ridiculous than the NFC North. I can't wait to see this. With the exception, of course, of the Chicago Bears and the Vikings here and there. But otherwise, you got three other teams now. The Cardinals are tough, too. So, yeah.
Yeah, the NFC West defenses, most of their defense, besides the Seahawks, defense is okay. Outside of Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams, that defense is okay. But every other team in the division has a darn good defense. Rams have an elite defense. Niners, if everybody's healthy, they also have a top 10 defense in the Cardinals. They added J.J. Watt. They had, the only weakness in their Cardinals defense is their cornerback position. They have Buda Baker. They have Zayvon Collins. They have Isaiah
Mm-hmm.
Simmons that they drafted
Mm-hmm.
last year. They have J.J. Watt, and Chandler Jones is coming back, who had
Mm-hmm.
5 plus, if I remember, with 10 plus sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So even the Cardinals defense is scary. If that team can pick up the pieces and they play and win games, that team's also very
Absolutely.
scary. US
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
very,
Very
very
capable. And
all the
I see them as big.
yep.
I was gonna say, I see the Cardinals actually as being the 49ers' biggest competition this year. The Hawks, I think the 49ers can handle the Hawks now. They're just not. If the 49ers are healthy, the Hawks have no business beating the 49ers. And the Rams, everybody believes the Rams are just going to be this blockbuster, hardcore team. I need to see what they're talking about. And they're all predicating it on Matthew Stafford. Okay, we'll see. I'll say no
We'll
more
see.
about that.
We run circles around Sean McVay and the Rams. I'm just gonna be honest. The
Yeah.
Cardinals is too early for me to say, but I say the Seahawks are probably the toughest. It's because when we go up against the
Russ.
Seahawks, it's down to that fourth quarter. If Russ cooks, I'm scared. I'm at the edge of my seat. Like, please, like let Russ limp off the field or something like that. Like, I'm like scared when we play Russ because he could do
This is
so many
why,
things.
and this is why I was such a huge DK Metcalf fan. And I love Debo, but my first choice that year was DK Metcalf. And then we find out in the combine, he runs a cone drill that, I mean, a snail could have beat him, but I guess because he's just a big guy and he couldn't maneuver like that, right? So I heard about that. Oh man, Kyle's not going to pick up Metcalf. I want Metcalf. I knew I was right on that. Metcalf comes in now. He's one of the premier wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
I knew it. And who does he go to? Russell Wilson. Perfect.
And Metcalf, you want to say something? Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay. I was just saying I was just annoyed by that. And also he's got Tyler Lockett as his wingman. Oh man. Both of those guys. The NFL.com already picked him as probably the best duo in the NFL.
They're the second best. First, my choice is AJ Brown and Julio, especially if Julio stays healthy.
Well, now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That trade was recently made. NFL.com made that projection weeks before that trade. But yeah.
That Debo pick still urges me to this day because Debo would have been there third round, second pick in the third round. DK Metcalf was a wanted commodity. So? Like Debo Samuel played, maybe if I remember correctly, 1 year in college. Debo wasn't a wanted commodity. DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, those guys were known as their wanted commodities. Why not draft you a guy like DK Metcalf or AJ Brown? Or even if you don't select Debo, Terry McLaurin was in the third round. You decided to draft Jalen Hurts over Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. Like, come on. Some of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch moves, I'm just like, come on. Like, why are you Kyle, why are you drafting the guy that you like the most? Draft the guy that has the most promise, that has the most talent, that you know who's the best player available, who's the best wide receiver available. And DK and AJ Brown were those guys. And Kyle Shanahan's like, I'm gonna draft a guy that I like the most in Debo Samuel. Like, come on.
Well, you don't Kyle coached. He coached the Reese's Peanut Butter game. Kyle picks players that he thinks best fit his system. And that's what sometimes when we see him, Jalen Hurd, he was going to use in a number of ways, but Jalen Hurd's been in the hospital the entire time he's been with us. So, this is just, sometimes I'm starting to wonder, does Kyle have something about him that brings the injury bug? We were getting injured before Kyle showed up, though, so maybe I can't say that. But why is it the guys are dropping like flies all around him? Because he's a great coach, though. I love the way he thinks and the moves he puts on defenders and makes DCs look foolish by the third and fourth quarter. But my God, why do people keep dropping like that?
Training staff, in my opinion. No other team in the league gets hit by the injury bug as bad as the Niners. Last year, if I remember correctly, we were one of the teams that had 10 or plus starters that were injured by the injury bug. 10 plus starters. That doesn't happen to most teams. I don't even think that happens to any other team besides the Niners. where 10 plus starters are out. Yeah, some other teams might have one or two starters. Like Panthers had CMC that was gone. So like there are teams that have maybe one or two, but no team in the league has like 5, 6, 7 plus starters that are injured. I don't know what bad luck the Niners have, but I really don't know. But we get hit by the injury bug harder than most teams in the league.
That's there's just no way to alleviate it. There's nothing that can be done. I just, I'm sure that they've had people probably. I mean, they probably turned this whole situation over to scientists and everything else, trying to figure out. Hey, and you got that sports science team, in fact, and they've came in and lent their expertise. Nothing's changing. We're going down still at the same rate of speed. What would be nice? I mean, if these guys could come back. Do you guys have to be gone for 5 to 6 weeks and entire seasons? You can't come back. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks we could survive, but you got to leave for the entire. Oh man!
I remember the Jimmy G injury. Jimmy G was supposed to be gone for like 4 to 6 weeks, if I remember correctly. He played on the Seattle game. He hurt it again. Josh Guasky was supposed to come back. So those guys didn't come back. So I really don't know what happens in the Niners with the injury bug, but they just get hit by the injury bug really hard.
George goes down. He goes down and comes back. What did George come back the last couple of weeks? I mean, it's just really we need him badly. George Kittle, as far as I'm concerned, is the heart and soul of the offense. Where is he? He's up in the glass booth with dozens of others. Exaggerate, but still. Looking down on the field, waving at the fans. I mean, come on, man. Why did we end up like this? So
George Kittle, I agree with you. George Kittle, in my opinion, is the offense. Jimmy Garoppolo needs George Kittle. Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle, that duo is really good. I remember when 2019 I was watching the Packers game. Jimmy Garoppolo rolls out of the pocket. He finds a play action. He finds George Kittle down the field, and we win the game against the Packers. So George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo tandem, that's scary.
George is got that level of excellence that guys like Jimmy can work with him, and also George does things with the run game is not going to be the run game without George. That's just what George is. He's both run and pass. George loves playing offensive line. He kills guys coming around there thinking they're going to make a play.
Guys like Cam Jordan, he beats those guys. Those are Pro Bowl caliber defensive linemen. He'll block them, so he'll kind of put guys on their butts, and I'm just like, you're a tight end, and you're doing that to Pro Bowl defensive linemen. Like, that's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
And he enjoys it. George is the guy who says there's something about making a man do something against his will. See, George, he may enjoy that as much as he does taking in a pass. George loves dominating. Love that guy. He's awesome.
So moving on to the last topic of the day is Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. I want to get your take on this, Rambo. Are you leaning toward the Shanahan people, or are you leaning toward the McVay followers? Which one are you leaning towards?
No, wait a minute. When you say that, are you talking about his coaching staff or when you say his following, who are we specifically talking about?
Who is the better head coach?
Oh, who's the better head coach? Oh, I mean, I'm so glad you asked me that question. Okay, Kyle comes in 2017. He brings an entourage of people with him, and they come in and they pretty much throw everybody else out. So he's only got this bunch that some of them are going to be okay, but most of them are just guys that are going to be filling in voids for a few minutes until Kyle can build his team along with John Lynch, right? Let's roll down south real quick to Los Angeles. Sean McVay walks into a situation. He's got all the talent in the world already there. He doesn't have to do anything. He may pick up a couple of players in the draft, but it's not a big deal. He's got Jared Goff, who was not that bad at that time, or Jared Goff hadn't been proven yet because he'd already been under the previous regime that wasn't doing very well with him. He had a great defensive line. You got the guy who's throwing kisses in the crowd, and Aaron Donald every time he does a sack. You know what I got to tell you, I mean, I do kind of like that about Aaron. If there's one thing that makes me laugh about Aaron Donald is after every sack. He turns around, addresses the crowd with a big smile and kisses. I want a building to fall on him when that happens, because when it happens to us, I'm mad, but I got to laugh. But anyway, he's got Aaron Donald, and he's got a frontline defense that's really tough. The offensive line, before they lost all their people in 2018, they were tough. Cooper Kupp was solid. He had a couple of really quick wide receivers. The team is built. Well, Kyle is trying to build a team starting in 2018 draft. And we pick up Reuben Foster. And you know the other guy. I'm Solomon Thomas. Anyway.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Solomon Thomas. It hurt. It hurt. It really does hurt me.
But that's what's the situation we were in. We were the worst team in the league against the run game the year before, right? So instead of getting that famous running back out of Stanford, then everybody laughed when I says, I want a running back in the first round. Kyle was at Stanford. He was looking around. No, we didn't get to see him. We got Solomon. I was livid. And then, of course, Reuben Foster lost his mind. Now our 2 first-round picks, we're taking a step back now. So we got to wait till 2019 to clean this up. But we did pick up George Kittle that year. We picked up DJ Jones, solid pieces. We look back at that now. Those were 2 first-round picks. DJ Jones is tough. George Kittle is just ridiculous. Who else did we pick up? We picked up Akello Witherspoon, didn't we? That didn't work out. We had a lot of bad things happen to us in that first-year draft. 2019, Mike McGlinchey in the first round. You see, McVay's already down there. I'm going to get this guy free agency. I'm going to get this guy in free agency. I was at my house crying, crocodile tears. I said, look at the Rams. My God, they're picking up everybody and saying, anybody. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And of course, the Rams went to the Super Bowl that year. Hey, by the way, the Rams in the Super Bowl, it was still a fluke. Even with all the talent they had, it was a fluke because the Saints got cheated on that play. That was pass interference all day in everybody's book except for theirs. The refs that day. So, they still embarrassed themselves in the Super Bowl, so that's fine. 2018 was not the Rams' year, and we came back in 2019, and we've owned them ever since. So, McVay does a good job with what he has. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a good coach. They run solid offense, which is probably predicated off of what Kyle Shanahan does anyway, because he learned a lot from Kyle. But Rudy will tell you, that's what you're seeing there is a lot from what he learned with the Washington team, and also some from what Kyle does. But mainly that's Sean McVay's offense. Rudy, have you lost your mind? Well, look at what goes on out there. You don't see any coincidental, identical plays being ran? No, you 49er fans, you guys take credit for everything, but our team is pretty much solid. And, how many times we had our worst team of all last year, and we swept you? Let's not make this a Rudy thing. He upsets me sometimes. But anyway, I still think Kyle is head and shoulders above Sean McVay. Although the record won't show it, but there's things that people should look at beyond just the records. And Kyle is listed, I think, below McVay this year by the predictions as to who's the best coach as well. But that's fine. We'll see what happens as we go forward. What I don't understand is why Pete Carroll, his name never gets entered into the mix as being a good coach, and he wins every year, regular season games. But, I guess they're saying if Russell Wilson wasn't in Seattle, Pete Carroll would be back at USC.
I 100% agree with that statement. That team should have been getting a top 5 draft pick in the league. Whether the less they should have been getting the first overall pick in the league. That's how bad the Seahawks were. They lost Earl Thomas. They lost Cam Chancellor. They lost Richard Sherman. That team should have been a dumpster fire. But then Russ did cook. So without Russ, that team would not be that good. But I say it's McVay.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Now, the reason I say it's McVay is, you could take all the factors of, Kyle Shanahan had to rebuild this team. But Jared Goff was a rookie Jared Goff came off his rookie season with Eric Fisher, and he did not do well with Eric Fisher. Sean McVay comes in, and he makes Jared Goff look amazing. He makes Jared Goff look really, really well. And Jared Goff, people were calling Jared Goff a bust after his first season with Eric Fisher. and he comes in with Sean McVay and he makes Jared Goff look really, really well. And
That's
yeah,
true.
and Korean 49er said, Bill Parcells said, "You are what your record says you are." And at the end of the day, and at the end of
It's
the
true.
day, really, and at the end of the day, you could take all the factors. Oh, Kyle had the injuries, and Kyle had to rebuild his team, and Kyle's quarterback was injured. But at the end of the day, you are what your record says you are, and you can make all the excuses in the world. But at the end of the day, you are what your record says you are. And I personally think that if Kyle Shanahan didn't have that tag of Shanahan, he would not
Mm.
be the Niners head coach today. That's just what I think. Because
Ooh.
now the reason I'm saying that is because most coaches get fired after 1 year if they do have a bad year. Some coaches get fired after they have a bad year. But
That's a good point.
Kyle Shanahan has
Uh-huh.
not one, but not two, but three losing seasons, 4 seasons that he's been a Niners head coach. Most owners will be like, "Hey, like we don't care about all the injuries, but you haven't given us winning and productive seasons. You're out of there, man. Like we don't want you anymore. We want a coach that can give us wins and that gives us winning seasons." Kyle Shanahan would be out of there with any other GM. Jed York is just a garbage owner. That's why Kyle's probably not gone by now. That's just what I think. Jed York is a joke of a CEO and an all owner. But
I
I
mean,
personally think Kyle Shanahan would be out of there.
who would you hire? If Shanahan, we have another year where guys are dropping like flies. Oh God, let me knock on wood. Anyway, if that happens again, and we have like another 6-10 season, or 6-7, or 6-11, is it time to say goodbye, Kyle?
That's a tough question because Kyle Shanahan's a wanted commodity around the league. I'm not even gonna lie.
See,
Kyle's
you know,
out of there, and Kyle's picked up in 2 seconds. Someone watched an offensive genius of Kyle, and
I
they're
mean,
picking
most
it up.
coaches, most owners will fire whomever's coaching their team to hire Kyle. Who would you pick up though? I mean, who could actually coach this team? Do you go to the college ranks and find a coach?
Eric
Do you
Bieniemy or
you see
Brian
who
DeBoer.
gets fired by the NFL? Who?
Eric Bieniemy or Brian DeBoer. Both those guys are offensive coordinators for powerhouses
Ah,
of the league. And Eric Bieniemy, Patrick Mahomes, developed Patrick Mahomes, who's easily one of the best quarterback in my opinion in the league, who destroyed us in the Super Bowl. And Brian DeBoer, who developed Josh Allen, who is also a D2 quarterback, like Trey Lance,
wait,
who is a D2 quarterback.
wait. I just want to say one thing about Mahomes destroyed. Actually, the referees destroyed the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
The
You
referees
know,
did not play a
there were
very
there
big
were
part.
there were several holding calls on Nick Bosa. Here's the thing. I mean, you got an average offensive line in Kansas City, and you've got one of the elite defensive lines on the other side of the ball, and they didn't call holding all day long. I think that was by design. I think the league wanted to see a competitive game because they knew if they didn't allow that the 49ers would have dominated the line of scrimmage all day long. Not good for the ratings. We just had a bad Super Bowl the year before with the New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Rams. The NFL could not afford to have back-to-back years of a sad display in the Super Bowl. So what does Goodell and company do? Listen, guys, we're predicting that if the 49ers are allowed, they're going to take over that game just defensively alone. So what we're going to do is you're going to swallow your whistle, any holding calls, anything like that, and just let them play. Okay, I really think I don't like to get into theories and things like that or conspiracy theories, but I do wonder that play where Jimmy and George hooked up in the first quarter and
Yep.
they called
Yep.
pushing off. I said, "Oh, ref, you make that call. That was marginal at best." And now we don't get that 3 points. We could have got a touchdown for all I know next play. But no, you take that away from us, right? But I'm watching George. I mean, I'm watching Nick and I'm watching Eric Armstead. It looks like the WWE out there. Guys are grabbing guys and choke slamming them to the ground from behind, and you're not saying a word. I'm talking, I could see the guy's elbow around, and Armstead is like totally, I mean, he's almost level trying to get away. No whistle. Nick, same thing. Push. I see, they're not going to call this, are they? That's fine. So from this, I'll never get over that game. how if it would have
Yeah.
been called fair like it was the following year, and they allowed Tampa Bay, they called the game against Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
called the game
Tampa
against Tampa
Bay,
Bay. Every
yes,
penalty. Two, 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 two. And I'm just like, where was that? Where we were in Super Bowl? Where was it? Were you guys like? Were you guys
I mean,
like? You guys didn't see it or something? Like,
the Chiefs hadn't won in 50 years. Everybody
no.
likes Andy Reid. He's everybody's favorite guy. That's, we don't represent that kind of thing. The 49ers, which the league doesn't care about the 49ers too much anyway. Ever since, God, that was wrong on so many levels. That's fine. That's,
It still hurts to this day. I still couldn't go back and watch the Super Bowl. I stop at the fourth quarter when Tavarius Moore gets the interception, and I'll turn off and I'll go sit in the bathroom and cry a little bit. It's still very sad, It still hurts me to this day. Because honestly, there should have been a ring on our finger that night, and I was like, we're gonna win this game, but that referee did not call anything. And then the Tampa Bay game, which makes it worse, they called everything.
Everything.
Every 2 seconds.
Even calls they probably shouldn't have called against the Chiefs. They did.
So, like, I really don't know. The refs screwed us over in that Super Bowl. Whether you want to accept it or deny it, they screwed us up so badly in the Super Bowl, and we should have had a ring on our finger if it wasn't for the refs.
Well, I noticed they didn't put Vinovich and his crew, and I haven't seen them in a long time. They should actually be. In fact, they should have been put into witness protection programs. A lot of people wanted to hang those guys. So, it's fine. It's one of those things. I quit watching the NBA because of this. I hate when referees take over games, and to the point where every referee's name on the field. We should not know the referees by name.
Yeah.
Are they that famous? That's when they've got too much of a persona out there. It's not supposed to know him. Do your job, do it fair, and do it right. I'm almost for bringing in electronic or computerized referees. That was brought up by people years ago. And I said, you know what? It takes a human element out of the game that might take some enjoyment. If I see a bunch of electronic figures running around out in the field, it kind of makes it weird. But no, now after that, you know what? After that Super Bowl, though, if they run a petition about that again, yeah. But we need to see the prototype and how it looks. I want to know if it can stay out of the way, if its sensor can see things everywhere on the field, if that robot can sit on the field, all of a sudden the camera zooms in. It would be kind of awesome, though. All right. CP3O, as affectionately called the newest system on the field, the camera's going to zoom in on him. He shows the replay in slow-mo and in fine detail. Yes, indeed. Kyle Shanahan has made that call, and he's going to get it. 49ers ball. Kind of like that.
Before we get out of here, I got to ask you a quick question.
All right.
How did you become a Niners fan? Before we wrap up the show, how did you become a Niners fan?
And this goes back to again, my parents were always like rooting for the teams around the house that I didn't particularly care for, right? So my dad was a huge Rams fan, and my mom was a huge Warriors fan. This is why I like the Lakers. And I like also the 49ers. My dad was telling me all the time, you don't know about no football. Listen to your pops. I'll tell you what you need to know. I'm like, I think I was 6. And he's going on and on about the Rams. And the Rams are like, they were good. Okay. But I didn't like football that much anyway. So I didn't really know, or I had no passion about it. So the Rams lost a game that I told him before the game started. God, who was that team? It was the 49ers too. You know what? The Rams lost. And from that point on, I was a 49er fan because I said, hey, Dad, hey, how about your Rams? Just one of them games. 49ers ain't, boy, that team ain't worth a dime. All right. I started watching and paying attention to 49ers all through the 80s and going on. I said, these guys are interesting. All right. Niners all day. So, yeah, it usually starts like that. But I got Raider fans in my family like crazy. I got a couple of Cowboy fans. There's Chiefs and Vikings. Fighting ever since we were like 12, 13, 14 years old. It has not stopped. Get together for family get-togethers. We bust out fighting every year. It's really something to get really passionate about. It's never going to end. Raider fans.
Half of
It
my
wasn't
family's
burning
Raiders
up.
fans also. Half of my family's Raiders fans, and half of my family's a Niners fans. So it's split, And we'll go back when the Niners and the Raiders play, and the Niners beat the Raiders last year. Like, no, nothing happened. I'm like, we destroyed you guys with Nick Mullins. So like, just be quiet
You're
about
untouchable.
Yeah, the
You're
Raiders are
untouchable
better.
when you say that. It was Nick. It was and Garcon and Nick just did a job on him right from the first quarter. I mean, the hookup was incredible. God, that was beautiful. And Raider fans are sitting in there, and you know how they like to say, I mean, who's the king of the Bay? You can't complete Raider stranger walk up to you wearing all this silver and black and looking like a jerk. Hey, you a 49er fan? Duh. Dude, who's the king of the Bay? Dude, I got to go. That was when they did, Kaepernick had lost to him last, right? And I couldn't even wage an argument. They were the kings of the Bay for that, because we only played them every 4 years. So I had to eat crow and walk away. And then, of course, that night finally comes. I was scared, too. You got to be scared. It's like you. Too many Raider fans in the family, get no peace. Now, Nick Mullins is on the field. Oh, my God. Oh, please, God. Somebody, don't let this make it close. We win.
Yeah, we destroyed them.
The last game we played them.
Yeah. No, the funny thing about that game was, right, I wanted to go to that game. I wanted to go to that. I see Rambo doing the dance. I wanted to go to that game, and my teacher, he's a Niners fan, right? I asked him in the morning. I was like, "Are you going to the game, right?" And I asked him if he's going to the game. He's like, "No, I'm not going to the game, right?" And it's like lunchtime, and I see him like leaving the classroom. I'm like, "Bro, where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to the Niners game. I gotta go early, and I gotta grab my Niners stuff." And I'm like, "You told us you're not going to the Niners game, and now you're leaving school to go to the Niners game. You gotta go home and grab your stuff, and now you're leaving." And he like dashed out of there. He's like, and he got his backpack, and he was gone.
It's
gone.
serious. It is serious. That's the one. And this is before your time, but a long time ago, we used to scrimmage every year with the Raiders, and the fights in the stands would get so vicious that the league just finally says, "Okay, you know what? No more preseason practice with you guys. If you're going to act like children, we're going to have to treat you like children. We're going to make sure that the Raiders and 49ers only meet every 4 years, so we don't have to put up with that madness for any more than that." I mean, they still got epic battles filmed in the bathrooms and everything, bloodshed. It was uncivilized. And you got thugs on both sides of the bay. It was getting scary, So so
yeah,
now
Battle of the Bay, Giants and Aim also happens, man. There's so many battles of the Bay, but the Niners and the Raiders, that's like another level of Battle of the Bay. Like you have to like pay-per-view. That's the pay-per-view right there. You
yes.
Wow, you like throwing punches.
They could do a movie. I mean, it'd be like an action-packed movie too. I mean, the parking lot, you got guys packing. It looks like Rambo versus whatever out there. It's a football game. What's wrong with you people? So
please behave civilized, man. It's just a game. Calm down.
I mean, we got I gotta go, but it's been fun. We can do this again. If you want.
I will definitely love to do this again. Well, that basically wraps up our show. I had an amazing time talking to you, Rambo. It was really fun. Like, this is probably one of the most fun I've had on the show. Just talking to someone about Niners and just getting enthusiastic with it. So I really appreciate you joining me today. And that basically wraps up our show. Thank you for joining me, Rambo. You are the best.
Thank you, Amin.
You are a legend in my books.
Oh, thanks. You know what? You're gonna be really special. You're only 13 and you're already up to speed. Keep it going, my man. Keep it going. We'll talk
Thank
to you
you. I
later, man.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, that wraps up our show. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like, please subscribe. Go follow Rombo on Twitter if you haven't, but Rombo already has like 20 times more subscribers and more Twitter followers than I do. But the odds are very
You'll
low.
catch up.
If you're that one person that are subscribed to me, you're not subscribed to Rombo. If you're that one person, go subscribe to Rombo. Go follow Rombo on Twitter. I'll put the links in the description. He's one of the best Niners fan and one of the best Niner content creators out there. I really appreciate you joining me, Rombo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Thanks. I mean, I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna